So I'm going to show you guys a little bit about putting in these wheelhouses. They do sell one. It's not very expensive. I think it's around 25 bucks or something like that. Wolfsburg West has them. Some of the other places have them. They might even be cheaper somewhere else. Shop around because most of them, I think all of them are made from Clocker or Brazil, which I don't know what the difference is. I think pretty much they're both the same crap. But they work, you know, they're fine for this. So one of the things you'll notice is, or you can make them yourself like I do. I just use sheet metal, bend an L, put a piece on here. It's not hard to do if it needs to be done all the way over the corner. If you only have like a section of this, then it'd be crazy not to use a piece of sheet metal. What I do is I'll just drop one of these in, one of these type of things in the hole, and then pound it down flush and weld it from the outside on the, if you have one that with this is missing. So that's how I make those. I usually just make them. They're only 25 bucks or something. You know, it might be worth buying it. I was debating it myself, but I already had these made, so I went, that's all right. So there's a couple different things I'm going to check into right now in this video. Is we're going to talk about. Okay, I'm putting mine down to right here because I believe that that's the correct place for this car. So I have a 61. We're gonna take a look at it. It was unmolested right here. No, it was untouched. Below, I don't think there's any metal repair in this section. I did have to do some heater channel repairs, but not here, which is the most common one, because this, usually if it's rusted down below, it's because your heater channel is starting to rust through. Do you need to change the whole heater channel? Please don't. Not unless you absolutely need to change the whole heater channel. Do not change the whole heater channel. I would not recommend it because the new heater channels are not quite as good unless you spend a whole lot of money, you know, for like Gerson or I don't know who else makes them. I think Gerson is the only one I know that makes them original, or maybe the British guys, what's it called? You know what I'm talking about. The ones that don't have any paint on them, but they're starting to paint them now, just so you know. You must be watching the videos. So anyway, let's go take a look at the other car real quick, and we'll see where this attaches. And I believe, this is what my theory is that the ones that you get from Wolfsburg West go all the way down and have the L-shaped bend at the bottom. The Clocker or Brazilian ones, whatever they are. Like I said, I'm going to put mine to right here because I believe that's what was done in the car. Not that I really care, but I think they have the patch section that goes all the way down to cover up a repair in your heater channel as well. So that's kind of good. So you can use it for both. You can fix your, you know, the upper part above your heater channel, down below it, or you can use it for a lot of different things. So I think that's why they make it that way. Or it could be that in the later cars, I don't know what year they would change. In the later cars, they may have had sheet metal that went down and bent. And I believe so on my 65, I think it did. It went all the way down and turned. The last one I did was a 65, last heater channel. Let's go look at both. I got a 65 and a 61. All right, so let's see if I can get the light to turn on. I think you can see it. There's a seam right here, and that's where they welded it. So it didn't go all the way down to the edge on this. This is the 61. If you look there, you can see the seam. It follows all the way along. And the bottom part of that is the heater channel. The top part's the body. Well, the 65 also seems to have the same seam right here. The lower part's the heater channel. The upper part's the body. Remember, the one that you buy as a kit goes all the way down to the corner. So if you're trying to do like a flawless repair, you know, you might want to do it like I'm doing it, but I don't really care about that. I'm just trying to show you because maybe you're attempting that repair. So just making sure my camera's on. This is 65 sunroof. The other one's a 61 hardtop. So anyway, that just sums that part of it up. If you're looking for the correct repair, mine would actually probably be about a 1/2 inch higher than this. But, you know, which kind of lines up with this, I believe. It goes straight along here. So if you're trying to get that correct, perfect look, that might be what you want to do. But, you know, it really wouldn't hurt for it to be all the way down to the corner, because you're talking about more strength. So, you know, it's really up to you. If you want to make your car stronger, you know, and protect, let's say you're putting in, like I am, Clocker home heater channels. They're not exactly the strongest ones, okay? If you're putting Gerson ones and you're trying to do like a original repair, trying to make it look really perfect, then, you know, you might want to put it where those ones are. I just did that video. I'm doing this video so that you guys can see who have those cars who are going for that perfect, correct repair, you know, show quality or something like that. You can know what to do. I don't build my cars show. You know, I'll get that straight out there. If you're new to the channel, I don't build show cars. I've done it. I've built my share of them. And to me, it's just like, it's like a collector guitar, you know. A friend of mine hates guitar collectors because the guitars never get played, you know. I want a car that I'm not afraid to drive. So, you know, I have people, you know, that buy my cars after I sold, you know, after I fix, you know, some of them I sell, some of them I keep, you know. And one of them I sold, and the guy wanted to buy it solely because he had really, really nice 100% restored collector cars, and he's afraid to drive them. What the hell fun is that? You know, that's not fun. That's just like, oh my God, look at what I have, you know. And when I die, guess what? Somebody else is going to have it. And then what are they going to do with it? I have no control. I'm dead. Guess what? It could get driven and it could get scratched. Man, I love that. So anyway, let's watch. I'm going to go ahead and weld this in, and then we'll see how it looks. I do have everything fairly clean. You can see a little bit of metal there. It's not super clean, but again, you know, the original was a pinch weld, and the top I'm actually going to weld the edge, weld the plugs up, and then I'm actually going to weld the edge as like a stitch, and, you know, not a butt stitch, but a, you know, stitch where I'm going here, then up, then here, up, you know, kind of like zigzag. All right, so the aggravation sometimes is when you're going through your plug weld, sometimes it doesn't like to burn and get good hot weld. Instead of, you get a little cold weld with those sometimes, and I'm having that problem. So I'm just going to go ahead and hit the bottom edge of this thing. That's why I do it that way. I want to make sure that I get it welded in properly and strong. Things, like I said, always for me, strength is number one. Cosmetics is definitely further down on the list. Some guys, it's all cosmetic. They don't really care about strength, and some guys try and care about both. And I bear myself the frustration of that. That just seems like too frustrating. So I just do whatever works, and then put the car together. And if I gotta put Bondo on it, I just put Bondo on it. I don't worry about it, you know. So anyway, that's how it's going. So what I did at the end here is, I wasn't sure, because you start pushing it down as you go. What I do is I start in the front and kind of work my way backwards. Sometimes if you try and line up the whole panel, unless it fits formed exactly perfectly, which takes a lot more time, you'll end up with a big gap in the middle or something like that. So if you can move it one direction on a shorter piece like this. Now when they're doing like bus rockers or something like that, that's got to be done different, okay? So we get to the end, and the thing is, I don't know if this is going to line up. I didn't know. Well, it's a little hot. I didn't know if this was going to line up, and what I was looking for is that line right there, because that's a good hiding place. It's right in the fender. When the fender's bolted on, you'll never see it. And I can put, you know, seam sealer or filler right there. I'm actually going to have to drill this guy out right here anyway, and when I drill that out, it's gonna, and I'll put the bigger one in there, it's gonna space the fender out just a little bit. I'll knock it back down. So you know, you get a little bit of an aesthetic correction you got to do there, but it bears me the frustration of trying to put in one of those square nuts or trying to put one in from the inside. If you're trying to get a not do that, then you can always buy the one from Wolfsburg West and butt weld it in place. They do have those. They're not expensive. So, but when you have a sheet metal bender, you know, it's just, why go to the store? You know, I can just do it right here and make it in a couple minutes. So I'll fill up these holes and stuff and weld this down. Okay, so it's all welded in, looking ugly. I'll just go ahead and grind it down. Alright, so that's that. Looking alright, you know, I can grind a little more here, maybe. You can take it down flush if you want. I like to leave a little bit of weld, you know, especially on the plug welds. So if you grind too much off, sometimes it becomes less strong, so that's why you see mine with a little bit of weld on. I want to make sure it's plenty strong. The other thing you probably could do and should maybe do is to strengthen it up is just put a couple of welds on this side. Well, it depends on, yeah, right along the edge there. And what that'll do is, see, right now you only have support from here down to the bottom. If you have a little couple in the middle, it will really help the strength. So, and then if you ever do get hit somewhere in the front, you know, it'll lessen the likeliness of it coming, whatever it is you hit, coming into the cab. So that's always nice. Now the next thing to do is seam seal or fillet. Either way, I mean, it depends on the filler you use. You know, just make sure no water gets in there. That's the main thing between the two layers. You know, rust needs water, and it needs moisture, and it needs air for it to be active. I mean, well, it can happen just underwater, I guess. I don't know. I'm not a chemist, but usually it needs some air too to kind of help out. There is, you know, the H2O. There is oxygen in water. So, but more of it in the air than there is in the water. So, yeah, there could be moisture in there right now, but if it's sealed in there, more than likely it's going to be there for so freaking long that I'll be dead before this car rusts out again, I'm sure. And another thing is you know, one of the things I like to do is if I'm gonna put a seam sealer on here, I'll put some sort of something to seal the surface, like either direct metal paint or a actual sealer, primer sealer. They sell them in spray cans. You know, they have primer sealers. As long as it says sealer on the primer, if it just says surfacer, surfacers are open, sealer is sealed, closed. So you need that, and then put the seam sealer on that, which really helps. It depends on which seam sealer you use. There are direct to metal seam sealers too. So it just all depends on what you're using. I mean, honestly, backyard guys, you can hit it with some sealing primer, spray can paint, and use water-based house caulk for your sealer. It'll probably last so freaking long, and then when that stuff gets hard, it's paintable. So you can do that. I'm just saying, backyard, you know, poverty special. You know, you don't have to go spend the $20 or whatever on a tube of seam sealer. You can do that, and it'll work just fine, and it'll last for many years as long as it is sealed. You know, there's 25-year water-based caulk, or 30-year, 35-year water-based caulk, and as long as it's over something that is completely sealed, it will work. It will hold out the water. That's all you're trying to do. Some guys go out and spend all that money, get all that fancy stuff. You don't necessarily need it. I mean, yeah, it's nice, it's good, but these methods work fine. You'll be happy for many, many years. I use water-based caulk on a lot of different things. Then I use good seam sealer on some things. It depends on what it is. Talk to you guys in the next video. Please like, share, and subscribe.